Hey guys, this is Danix87. Today I'm going to be talking to you about wall jumping. Now if you haven't already got the wall jump material, or the wall jump tweaker, this is a logic way of doing the wall jump. There are two different variations to this. One, you hold on a couple of seconds and then you drop down. The second will slide down the wall, a lot more similar to the one that you actually get with the DC DLC. Once you get to the bottom, you can no longer jump, you drop instead. Okay, so you're going to need a broadcast microchip, a battery, mover, timer, not gate, character animation tweaker, and a controllinator. So we start off by making two non-collision, usually sticker panels I'll use. You could use hologram or anything else. And you make it a grid size, the smallest grid size. So you make it a tiny little square and you put it in front of whichever wall you want to be able to have as a jumpable wall. You miss out the top square, otherwise this will cause problems when you stand on the top. Okay, then I'm going to make this completely invisible. And then I'm going to add our broadcast microchip. This broadcast microchip needs to be set to all in contact and allow touching. Then we want our controllinator. This needs to be set to be a receiver of the nearest player. Then we are going to add a microchip, and inside this microchip we are going to add a battery and a timer. Add the battery's output into the input of the timer. Then we want around a second of a countdown timer. So this is the amount of time that you hold onto the wall before you drop. Then we want a mover, which is set to 0 and 0 and 100% strength and deceleration. Then we put the timer into the on-off of the mover. Next up we want to get a animation, so I always pull out a sackbot for this. And we can actually see the animation as we're selecting it. So we get an animation tweaker. Place it in its microchip. Now we can select whichever animation we feel is best. So I'm going to go with climb ready to jump. Sounds about right. We want the angle to be the same angle as our wall, 90 degrees. Then we can add that into our microchip as well. That can also have the output from the timer into the activation of the animation. Next up, we want another timer. This is our jump. So we want this to be around a second, maybe 0.5, and we want it to be a countdown timer. And then we want our X button to go into its input. Then we want a NOT gate with the timer's output into it and the NOT gate into the activation of the microchip. Lastly, we want to get a mover. Now the mover's settings is going to be what your jump is. So we're going to connect our timer into its input. I want around 5 sideways and 6 up, so I jump away from the wall and upwards at the same time. Now for the sliding one, it's pretty much exactly the same thing, so we keep it all exactly the same, apart from we go into our microchip and we're going to add a few things. So we're going to add, make sure that's down to the bottom, we're going to change that to a count up timer. We're going to add in a NOT gate with the timer's output going into it, and we want another mover. The original mover needs a minus, so I go with -1. The NOT gate goes into the original, so the 0 and the 0. Then we take out the input for the character animation trigger. You can reduce the speed of the timer depending on whether you want it to be more instantaneous. Now we drag down the wall. Obviously we need to change the angle in which we have our animation, as well as the jump. Obviously we don't want to jump into the wall anymore, so we need a minus value to jump to the left. Now we have our two different variations of the wall jump. And that's how you do your wall jumps. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Keep tuned for more, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, guys.